You're up, buddy.
Hey, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Ben in Kaohsiung.
I am Tim in Taichung.
And we are Critters in Taiwan.
I'm gonna join you on that someday just to fuck with you. And we are.
we may not be the only critters in Taiwan. I've been thinking more and more about this lately. Why we haven't really found very many more, and I think they're out there.
I'm surprised. They are there.
I know there's a few out there. I want to find them. I want to talk to them. I want to find out who you are. Who are you?
He's not pointing at me. He's looking at me.
Looking at you.
Nope.
Hey, tonight we're going to be talking about Campaign 3, episode number 16, titled The Shade Mother.
The Shade Mother.
Yeah.
I always find out the title on this podcast.
This was a good one. I really enjoyed this one. It was a nice long episode. A lot of combat, a lot of RP, a lot of in between, a lot of back and forth, a lot of comedy. Oh, hey, speaking of comedy, spoilers. We're going to spoil everything. So if you're not here for the spoilers, you can leave now. Go. Bye-bye. See ya. We're going to spoil everything about it, but yeah, you've been warned. Campaign 3, Campaign 2, Campaign 1, EXU, one-shots, other stuff, whatever else, everything Critical Role related. Language, there will be some language, mostly English, might be some Marquesian, who knows? Yep. We'll see how it goes.
I usually slip into Marquesian when I start thinking about shit. You ever seen this stuff before?
Hard soda.
Yeah.
I do know what hard soda is. I've never seen it. Vodka. What is it called? Vodka orange black. What did I see there?
Vodka Otago peach, apple and soda. I only see them at my 7-Eleven just downstairs, but it's not sweet. It's just nice. It tastes most like soda.
Okay.
And the regular old 5%.
And,
it's like
and hard. Soda tastes like soda and hard.
Fucking hard.
Hard. Are you
the
hard?
Other one here with the little raspberry lime, you know?
Hey, Tim, how hard are you?
I don't. Did they have any responses to that? Any good ones anyway, or was it just Matthew going?
No, it was just full face palm, a minute of face palm. It was
Matthew,
amazing.
Come on, like how what was the question? How hot? How
hurt are you?
Oh, hurt.
If you,
right.
It was all
we
about,
all
it was
heard
all
it.
about the love. Yeah.
How hard are you? Like,
well, Sam's a troll. Sam's a troll, right? That's the whole thing. He's the troll.
I heard it too. So Sam was just speaking for me. It was like, and I loved how he brought it later. It was like, could you help me out or something? Like, well, how hard are you right now? Or can they come in and be like, well, how hard are you?
That made me laugh. I was like, nice callback. That was a good, quick callback.
Yeah, like what you were saying. This was the best one yet, in my opinion. Like the battle, and then the post battle, kind of like, like Metroid Get Out, the timer thing,
the chase scene. Yeah,
I
like those.
That was pretty sweet.
I love a good Matt Mercer chase scene. I really enjoy those. He does a lot of them. It's nice.
I like like, and two Shade Creepers show up. And like, what do you do? And like the two people in the front, they're like, I guess I attack that one. You attack that one. It's like, there's no initiative. Just let's just go. It's
no map. It's all theater of the mind. It's all spontaneous, and they're all just sort of like shouting things out and trying to figure out what to do. And Matt's like, I think he's got like a little bit of a mental countdown clock in his head, and he's like, if you don't come up with something right away, they're gonna go, and then
just interrupt the turn or whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Then,
I like those things.
There was some stuff at the end too. I think I got a couple of points about it.
Yeah, we'll
get there.
But hey, before we actually do the little there it is. Where's the 20? There's the 20.
You gonna deny me my rollies when I picked it up? Jesus.
No, I just want to make a comment about something that I noticed right away, and it really made me fucking giggle. Did you see Marisha's shirt
I'm
for
glad
this
you
episode?
Said giggle. I didn't notice. Giggle. No.
Okay, so I caught it right at the beginning, very beginning, and I was like, "What is that? What?
So
okay, what shirt is that?" And it took a while, and I find, because I always look at their shirts. I like their. I like. If you can't tell, I like D&D shirts.
I need to get some more sleeveless. I'm running out of the necks are getting old. Yeah.
Anyway, Marisha's shirt is what this week was a horse on a horse on a horse. The 3-horse stack shirt. You didn't watch the Elden Ring one shot.
Oh fuck! No, I got like a quarter of the way through that
Right.
one.
Damn it. Okay, I was hoping I didn't. I was hoping you had finished it.
Oh.
So that shirt is a direct reference to
To that one
the
shot?
shenanigans that happened in the one shot,
Oh
and
man,
it brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
they work
All right.
fast, don't they?
Yep. Okay. So if you critters out there, if you watch the one shot, you know what I'm talking about.
Shit, that'll be my tomorrow at the gym. That's what I'll watch.
Get it. Again, like I told you, it wasn't a great one shot, but it was entertaining. It was
I'm interested in those two people I'm not familiar with.
Alex and Brennan. Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
'cause I'll have to watch
And the
it,
other
you know.
lady, what was her name? She was an odd one. She played a very odd character, the prophetess. Not a honest, in my opinion, not a particularly interesting character choice. A lot of sort of just not the kind of character that I gyrate to, not gyrate, gravitate, whatever. Brain, words, things, not gravitate.
Not the kind of person you fucking gyrate to. You know, takes a real special type to do that.
What's the word when you like get pulled into something's orbit? It's gravitate.
Gravitate, yeah, gravitate towards them. Or attract, you know, or
not a character choice that particularly interests me.
There's a gyroscope, but that's more about direction.
That's
angular momentum.
Angular momentum thing,
I think gyration is fine. I think you nailed it with that.
Excellent. Hey, should we do some rollies? Yeah, I got a dice.
Sure. You ready to lose some more?
As my D&D buddies, it's called a die, loser, not a dice. I got a dice. You got a dice?
I have a dice. Yeah. I can't see that cool purple color I saw at your place in this room.
Yeah, it doesn't show up on that.
It's the first time I saw it. All right, rollies. Here we go.
Go.
Oh man, I'm rolling well, man. 15.
I got a 6.
6. All right.
I pulled a Marisha there. Where's the line? Where's it go? And Ashley. Those fucking dice that they're using, I still want to know what those dice are all about, because those dice are, I can't understand how those dice are unreadable. Like how they can't read them.
Yeah, like
Amazing.
Yeah, there was that episode, it was like the 13-8 or whatever. I think they were adding modifiers and shit too. So like they were just spitting out numbers that didn't sound anything like each other, didn't look anything like each other. It's like, how do you we discussed like my 6 and my 9 are right next to each other. It's quite easy to see. It's a period.
They're really easy. It's hilarious. That comment, it never fails to make me laugh. That comment that either Sam or Liam made. Maybe you should get a dice that has numbers on it.
Yeah.
Just
as this one's got a tone for the fucking 20.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like the Scanlan dice. I think it's a custom Scanlan dice that has the poop and the loot on it. And he is the 1 and the 20, and he wasn't sure which was which.
Yeah, because the poop is pretty awesome. It's
pretty awesome. Yeah. Yep. But I mean, you can tell what when you look at the numbers next to the 1, if it's a 7, 19, 13, or a 20 has the 8, the 2, the 14. Anyway, hey, you won. What's your first point?
I'm going to flip this over a little bit. I was going to start from the top like I usually do. I'm going to start with the bottom one here because we already kind of mentioned this. And we talked about this a little bit in the last game or just in text. I'm not sure which one, but you'll know what I'm talking about. With this, the first one with Robbie gone.
Yep. No, this is the second one.
This is the second one, right? And we talked about that in the last one. That's what it was. And I'm thinking here with Robbie gone. Is this why, in my opinion, this was the best one so far? I don't mean to shit on Robbie. I know that's what that could come off as. But with Robbie not there, and then they just have this dynamic when it's just the 8 of them, that they just, the decisions made in combat that I won't bring too much up on this point, and just the giggles, and the, knowing them so well, where the giggles are coming from, and you're just watching your buddies having a good time.
Exactly.
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode 2 times. Through
my point on that is exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Is it because Robbie's gone? I don't want to think so, but it might be.
Part of it, I think, is where Robbie was sitting between Marisha and Travis.
Yeah.
And the antagonism that Chetney had towards Dorian was palpable. Like you could taste it at times. And I think that now that that's gone, Travis is like, okay, now Chetney doesn't have as much to focus on. So now he's actually going to still getting his little digs in, his little crotchety old man shit, and still getting that in there. But I think a lot of it is that yeah, you're right. The dynamic, the chemistry, that's the original cast. They're all together and they're all full-time playing. Full-time.
Yeah. And the ball's rolling in this campaign now, stuff's happening,
Yeah. 16 episodes in, and nobody has phoned in. Nobody has Zoomed in or Skyped in or whatever, AOL.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Messenger, and nobody. Part of it is because of the, like the pandemic stuff and the lockdown that's still happening in LA. Like there are still mandates and restrictions and stuff happening in LA, so that they don't really have anywhere to go. But also because there's nothing else to do. They're all locked into Critical Role full time now, so they're just like, yep, this is our full time job, and now we do this, and they're pre-recording everything. So I know this last episode was pre-recorded after the one shot, but that could have happened a month ago. These episodes may not be that recent. They could be weeks ago, and we're seeing the chemistry between them because of that. They're doing day by day by day by day. They'll do like one episode every day, every couple of days. I don't know.
Yeah. And by pre-recorded doesn't mean it's not live. Just means it's pre-recorded. All right.
Yeah.
Whoever's being doubtful out there is like, I knew it was written, scripted. Fuck off.
No. They're recording it live. It's just not being aired. They're not live streaming anymore. They're pre-recording and then putting it out there. But it 100% is live. It's not. Yeah. Which I think I'll just, if you're good, I'll throw my point out there, and I'm gonna throw this out there as a running point. I'm going to run this point through this entire little conversation that we're having here. This was the very first time I've popped. I never do this on my first watch, but on the second watch so what I do is, I've told you this before, I watch it for the first time on Friday night, and then when I get home from work, and then I do the rewatch on Sunday and Monday. And on the rewatch for this one, where I take my notes and write stuff down, I popped out the chat, which I've never done before. Occasionally I will throw up the chat and I'll be like, oh, I wonder if somebody in chat says, like, I'm looking at something, I'm like, what was that? What did that even mean? And I'll open the chat and I'll be like, okay. And inevitably somebody will make a comment about this. But this was the very first time that I've watched the entire thing with the chat. And man, oh man, are there assholes out there.
You got thoughts about it? You want to do it again?
Oh boy. There is some toxic bullshit going on in this world,
I
man.
think just toxicity. Put it everywhere you can. It's like, why are you here, man? Like,
listen. I'm just gonna say, like, not in honesty, in all fairness, not a lot of toxicity blasted at the cast. A little bit, still a little bit of cutting and sniding, and oh, dude, they start adding each other, like at blah blah blah, at so and so, you were wrong, it's this, and at so and so, it's this. No, and then there's these flame wars happening in chat. It's
calm down,
gnarly, gnarly.
We don't know.
It's back of the bus shit, man. It's amazing. Oh, it's. Yeah,
quiet down back there, Jesus.
It made me laugh. There were multiple moments. I've written a couple of them here.
Yeah,
that,
please
that
share
were just
a few examples. Come on.
Oh man. When we get to them.
Okay.
Because some of them are just it's just nonsense. It's people rules lawyering. It's people getting snide about little comments about, oh, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that and they missed this and blah blah blah. It's like, it's just peanut gallery shit, Statler and Waldorf shit. It's just it was nonstop. And I had to pause a couple of times and rewind and go back, and I'm like, oh wow, they're really serious here. Because the game is, or the show is in front of me and the chat's over on the right. And I'm like, sometimes I was focused on watching the chat and I'm like, wait, I'm missing the actual action. What's happening? I'm like, wait, what?
This is your second time through though, right?
This is the second time through. So it's not,
it's usually when I would never do this.
I would never do this the first time. But here's the crazy thing. that chat is live. You can't chat. You can't comment on this stuff when it's happening, or
I've tried
when
a
you
few
rewatch
times.
it. When you rewatch it, you can't. So that means these thousands, tens of thousands of people that are watching this are flaming. They're just texting and texting and texting and texting, typing into their keyboard or on their device or whatever they're doing while the show is happening. It's just mind-boggling. I don't even understand how that could be a thing.
Right. You know, it's live. So like it's so it's not a video.
Yes.
You're not like watching it and you can rewind
No,
and shit like that.
you
There's
can't.
no rewind button. That's why I don't.
Nope.
I hope my schedule never opens up where I can watch it live. Because I'm not gonna want it. I'm not gonna like it. I'll have to like sit there and fucking glue to it, which is not what I'm used to doing. I like to go back. I like to go back 8 times and see everybody's reaction to something
I'm
funny
the same
or something
way.
shitty.
The only time I
true
would ever
critter
want to
way,
watch them, the only time I would ever want to watch them actually live is actually live in person on a stage in a theater or in an arena or in a whatever, when they're sitting on stage doing a live show. That's the only time I would ever want to watch them live. I've told you this before. I spoil myself every once in a while, and on Friday mornings, because we're in Taiwan, it's Thursday night, but it's Friday mornings here. We live in the future.
We can tell you all about it.
when the show starts at 11 a.m. now, to be 10 a.m. here. When it starts at 10 a.m., stupid daylight savings. When it starts on, I'll often turn it on, and I'll be like, I'll watch for a couple of minutes. And I'm like, oh, okay, nope, turn it off, go away, go about, because I don't work mornings, right? So and then I come back I'll come back like an hour later, and I am like, no, okay, all good. Yeah, still on. They're still all good. And then I go home, but then I go off to work, and then I come home from work and I watch it.
You're fucking yourself, man.
It's all.
I
good.
get excited when it's on because I'm like, I know what's happening right now, and I'm just like, I'm teaching a class, you know, and I'm just like, in the back of my mind, every single break I have, I'm like, nah, can't do it, you know. Like I didn't watch a trailer for Elden Ring, you know. I'm not watching this one shot until after I've gotten a lot of hours in now, so I'll watch it, no problem. But
sure.
Yeah, like spoiling for yourself. I know it's just a little snippet there, but
it's like less than a minute. It's less than a minute. It's less than 30 seconds. It's often just 10 seconds.
5 seconds is too long. 5 seconds too long.
I know, but for me, I'll tell you what it is. I want to know if they're doing. You know me. I've told you this. I think I say this every fucking time we talk. Combat. I want to know if they're going through combat for this one, and if they're going through combat, I want to know. I want to know, is this an RP episode or is this a combat episode? So every once in a while, I check in, I peek in on the live stream, and I'm like, no, okay, it's this. And when I see a little Dwarven Forge set up, I get super giddy.
There you go. You see the little camera.
I turn it off, and then I'm like, all day at work, I'm like anticipating. I get super excited about it, and I'm like 6:30 comes around, I'm clicking on, and I know I'm in for a treat because I love watching D&D combat. It's one of my favorite things.
All right, so the examples of the toxicity in chat or whatever that'll come up throughout the time. If we don't come across any, I could spend an hour talking about them, and I didn't really write any of them down because they're not examples, you know.
Yeah, but I'll tell you when they came in. Okay. When people fucking explode. There was a lot of nat 20s on this episode. A lot. There was also.
I didn't really realize that.
There's a lot of nat ones too. Mostly on. This is one of my other points about later on, but a lot of nat ones, a lot of natural 20s. And one of the things I noticed about chat is when you're a subscriber, when you subscribe to Critical Role, you get the Critical Role stickers, and one of the stickers is a nat 20. Yeah. And when somebody rolls a nat 20, they fucking spam. It's like an entire scroll of just nat 20 stickers. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of fucking nat 20s in this episode. It's one of those things I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah.
Didn't really notice it because I'm also watching campaign 1, and at a time when their golden snitch is just being magical. Just watched an episode. There's just 20. It's like, and Matt does this thing. It's like, there are other numbers on that dice. Yeah. You can save some of those 20s for other episodes.
I'm at episode 111 on my third rewatch, and
you're getting there, man.
I'm getting there. Well, I'm taking my time now. I've told you this before. We're tangenting, but it's fine. I've told you this before. I don't enjoy these levels. I don't enjoy this
high levels
point. They're all at level 19. They're all at level 17, 18, or 19, depending if they multi-classed or not. Grog is level 19 because he didn't multi. Oh no, he did. He should. They all should be at level 20. He took a level in fighter, because he wanted second wind and something else.
The one where
couple of things.
Bonus action heal a bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he took and it gives him something else. I forget what, but there's another reason why
he didn't get action surges of that.
No, you don't get action surge until level 3 at fighter or level 4.
Pretty early, but it's not one.
It's early.
He does not have action surges. Cause fuck, man, that guy'd be a tank.
Well,
I mean,
he could have done it at level 17. He could have taken his last 3 levels in fighter or level 16 and been a level 16 level. It's been maxing stuff, right? But anyway, this is the thing. Like, I was looking at his stats for this level. His strength is 26. His con is 20. He's at 260 hit points. It's insanity. And it's not entertaining to watch. It's just too many high rolls. Every roll is over 30. Vax does a sneak attack on an undead thing, and it's a 77 damage. Yeah. It's just like, and it's just, yeah. I'm not interested in these massive numbers. The only thing that's good about these high levels is the stuff that comes out of it. Again, I'm glad they didn't do Mighty 9 to level 20. I'm glad they cut Mighty 9 off at level 15. That's because that's where campaigns should end. In my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Like, going up into those high levels, yeah, you can go ahead, knock yourself out. To each their own, right? For me personally, not interested in those high levels.
Pointing at my dick. You can write it right down there. All the info is right there.
Yep.
Tell Ben how much of a bastard he is. I'm at level 18, and
I don't think I've ever gone to level 20 in 5th edition. No, I'm very certain I never have.
I don't know if I know. It'd be like one of those like, all right, well, I did it, and then like what like video games, it's a little bit different, but it's kind of similar. Once I get that platinum trophy on a video game, I just don't touch it anymore, and I just go. But it's for me, it's like a send off. It's like, oh, I did everything. Thank you. And then I never touch it again, but I talk great things about it later. You know, if I ever got to level 20 in D&D, I might not touch it again. I don't think that's true. If I played enough, you'd probably just like, oh, new character? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. D&D's got unlimited replayability, so yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I love new. I get too much love for new characters to run a character for that long.
Yeah. That's what most people use D&D Beyond for, is just writing a new character. There's like
making tons of new characters. I'm full up. Like, I can't. Well, I have the. Oh no, I've subscribed now, so I haven't been playing with D&D Beyond for a while now, but I maxed out the amount of characters that I could have. But now that I've actually paid for stuff,
easy,
I think
bro.
I can get. Uh-oh.
Yeah, anyway, so speaking of live comments, and there was another thing. Fuck, there were 2 things that are kind of in here. So when I win this rollie, inevitably, I can tell you about this next one here.
All right.
You ready?
I got it. Ready?
Right. 18, man.
Natural 20.
Is this your first?
I think it is my first natural 20. I should take a picture of it.
You know, just for that, I'm not gonna bring out this point.
Oh, okay. All right. That's your loss.
I'm rolling 18. You're gonna beat me out with fucking.
Not my loss. That's your loss. That's my first natural 20.
Do I add anything?
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna throw up. Yeah. No, I know what I'm trying to think of a good point that I've got for a natural 20. Last week, I brought up the. Well, yeah, I mean, no, yeah, sure. Last week I brought up the point about the dancing lights and the fact that nobody's got dark vision, and only Chetney and Laudna have dark vision, and no, Laudna doesn't. I don't think. Shit, I thought there was 2 of them that have dark vision. I know Chetney does because gnomes do. What was the other one? I forget. FCG.
No, they said that Laudna did in this last episode.
Maybe I don't remember. Anyway, most of them don't have dark vision, and that was the whole point about the about Imogen not casting that seething storm. What was it called?
Something like that. The concentration spell. So the lights would go away.
Yeah. Yep.
I missed it.
I've got it written here, but I don't know where it is. Damn it. Seething. Where is it?
Seething. Seething Storm looks fine, bud.
Sure. Yep. Anyway, this time at 44 minutes and 10 seconds on the Twitch stream, Imogen puts up dancing lights because Matt says, well, I'm assuming that you have had dancing lights up this whole time. And Laura's like, oh, of course. Yeah, of course I do. Of course I have dancing lights. And then they start talking about how they're sort of like running around and they're getting in there. Travis is like, I think she hears all of this. I think she can hear everything we're saying. They're standing right outside the entranceway to that big thing. And then Ashley pops out the fucking big gun, Daylight, which changed the entire thing. And so for the record, Daylight lasts an hour. It's a 60-foot radius, and it is not concentration. So
that's insane. It's not concentration.
It's a third level spell. She only has one or two of them. At level 5, she probably has one slot. So that is her third level spell. And she drops it out there, and it's a game changer. It changes the entire thing because every attack is at disadvantage by these bad guys because they're all light sensitive. And they don't, the Imogen and whoever else would cast dancing lights or any light spell of any kind. Doesn't have to. So they're free to just sort of do whatever spells they want. And everything is all good. Which is huge. It's super clutch going forward. Ashley even says, she's like, at one point when they're sort of going inside and they see this beautiful Dwarven Forge set up with the, and it was a gorgeous little set. I really enjoyed it.
We're not sponsored, but they could
always be. Yeah. Yeah. Ashley sort of goes, I'm going to take a perception check. And she takes a perception check to look for, I think they were looking for Lady Emoth at that point because Lady Emoth heard that they were looking for her. She fucks off up into the top, scuttles up into the top corner and is trying to hide. And Ashley realizes that Fern has a really high perception.
+7, I believe, right?
It's a wisdom-based skill, right? And she's a druid, so she has proficiency in those, probably has proficiency in wisdom. And it's a high bonus, right? It'd be +2 +5. She has a 20 charisma or 20 wisdom, so it'd be +7. Big bonus, but it would be at disadvantage if not for A, dancing lights, or B, the daylight spell.
Yep.
So it's a big moment, I think, and I really hope they learn from it. I hope they figure that out, and that daylight spell is in this particular case was clutch, and I hope it is clutch going forward. That's all. That's my point.
Well, directly responding to that, Fern and Orem saved someone from dying.
MVPs.
Yep. Because Fern put that up. I didn't know she had the
Ps.
spell. I'm not super familiar with, don't druids, don't they just have a bunch of spells? They have to choose them for the day.
Yes.
But they don't have to choose them for perpetuity. They
get a number of spells equal to their level plus their wisdom modifier and maybe plus proficiency. Okay. So if they're level 5, that's 5 spells. She has a 5 wisdom modifier, that's 10 spells. And then I think its proficiency would be a grand total of 12 spells that she could learn of level 1, level 2, level 3.
Is that 12 levels of spells? No,
it's 12 spells total.
And she has a certain allotment for different levels.
Yes. So at level 5, I'm just spitballing here, and I don't. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah.
I think she gets 1 level 3, 2 or 3 level 2s, and 2 and 3 level 1s. So those would be her slots. So she would have, if she was sort of like smart about it, she would have 2 choices for level 3. Obviously, daylight was one of them. Maybe 3 choices. She would have 3 or 4 choices for level 2, and then all the rest would be level 1s at this level. That's probably what she would be doing
if she played like you, but
if you played like me, but who knows, right? I mean, you only have one level 3 spell slot, so you should really only choose 2, maybe 3 level 3 spells. A couple of different options, but that level 3 spell it has to be a big one, and that's what the daylight was. So she only has a few choices, and the daylight spell was fucking clutch, man. It was huge.
When Chetney was in there, I think the last episode ended with him being in there. I don't remember if it started with him going in. He was already in, right?
I think so.
Because he'd seen the slug thing, and they were like, and we're going to leave it there for now because this could get...
Yes.
And so he was Master Balls or whatever. And then so he came back out, and I think I don't even know if he did it in Chetney's voice. It may have been Travis's voice being like, is this too much, guys? Like, you got the big ass slug, you've got Emoth, and you've got. They're like, are either of those two things that I saw, were either of those Lady Emoth? And he was like, nope. And he's like, fuck. Like, maybe we're too, you know, like fighting the Nightmare King. That was, I was like, yo, you know, like, you're going to have to book it unless he's going to be nice to you. And he was nice to them, you know. Same thing with Esteros, you know, in the very first thing. It's like, well, he's not going to kill him in the second episode, maybe, except for Sir Bertrand Bell, whatever episode that was. But yeah, when he came back out, I was thinking like, yeah, this is too much. When we talked about it last episode here, we were like, someone might die, dude, you know? And I think, counterpoint to what you're saying, Fern, with the daylight spell that I didn't see coming, I didn't, you know, like you had me thinking about the light that they could use so they could all, you know, I have this so that you guys can go, but it's not concentration. That's insane to me. So she could also go. And then Orem with his fucking chain. I'm
rope.
still unclear what this mechanism was after watching twice. I must have missed
the rope.
a detail.
He picked it up
he
at
put
remember that
he put it into the mechanism, which fucking held her back.
The auger. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever that was, and
the
it was
rock
just,
auger.
That
it was a mining
sealed the deal, man. Like
right, it was a mining tool that remember it was in behind at the back of the cavern, and it actually FCG pressed the button, pulled the lever, pressed the button, whatever he did, and the auger starts spinning, and it grinds into the rock, and then it knocks over a big boulder right on top of Chetney.
I caught that part.
Right. So this is the whirring. There's gears in there that are spinning around, whirring around, and that was the auger. And then that rope, that
I forgot the name of it.
Orem, the rope of
the self-climbing,
whatever,
self-attaching,
whatever it is, onto the stinger and then down into the.
So he did it to her. I didn't catch that part either when he got it onto her.
Yes, so onto her stinger. He rolled to attack.
Because when he put it down, I knew what he was doing. You know, he was like, you know, I hate this, but I got to do it.
This is one of those moments when the chat exploded. Chat fucking blew up, and people start yelling. People started screaming at each other. This is why fighters are not basic. This is why fighters are not boring, because they get to do shit like this. And then other people are like, no, fighters are still boring. They're bullshit. And this is just one of those, you could do this. Any class could do this, and blah, blah, blah. People screaming and fighting with each other. And it's just like, wow. Lots of nonsense. Lots of nonsense.
Take a step back and look at yourself, bro.
Yeah, man.
What are you arguing about?
Again,
it's a fun little game.
Again, an amazing moment in the game, mid-combat, and people are taking time out from this and to type stuff into chat. It's like, whatever, man. Not my scene. I get
Apparently
it. Like, you want to scream and yell at each other, but
that was such a clutch fucking move, man.
Oh, it's huge.
And if you're not sure, look at Travis and his reaction, because he's basically us.
Oh yeah, man, it was great. Hey, that was my nat 20. That what's you already had your little counterpoint. Is it time for rollies again?
Yeah, it's time for rollies again, mid.
Cool. Okay, let's do a little rolly thing.
All right. So now when I win this one, I'm going to go back to that other one that I was talking about.
All right.
They're all related to each other, man.
Shit.
I'm doing pretty good. Another 15.
I got a 9.
All right.
9.
Which one did I want to do? I forgot. Not that one yet.
I think.
Shit, that's between these two. 1 through 10 is the first one. 11 through 20 is the second. Can you roll for me?
What? Sorry, say again.
Can you roll for me? 1 through 10, it's this one. 11 through 20, it's this one.
6.
6. All right.
Wait, what are you doing making me waste my rolls? How dare you? I totally fell for that too, bastard.
You wasted a 6. Come on.
I wasted a 6. All right, fair enough.
All right, your next one's going to be good. Speaking of Fern and Orem saving a life, all of these things are related to each other on my page. I'm feeling still pretty sure that someone's gonna die at some point. They seem to be biting off more than they can chew a bit, you know, for those last 2 big battles, really 3, except for that. I don't really count the first one because I was pretty sure that he was gonna back off. It was a test. That's Matthew's favorite thing to do. I think Orem's gonna go first. I'm pulling a Ben here, and I'm predicting. I think Orm's gonna go first, and I think Liam might know it because he's a protector at heart. And you know, if it come down to him strapping that thing onto himself and then attaching himself to her with that thing, and then he's like, "Go, I got this." You know, fucking Gandalfing everybody. He might die. They would like leave maybe, or maybe they wouldn't leave. I think he's gonna be a hero.
Fern wouldn't let it happen. Fern would get, Fern has a little bit of a parachute. I'm not totally sure. A little bit of a lifeline there. She's got a thing, lifesaver with Mister. And again, I'm not really sure how this whole thing works, and I don't know how they're going to rule it. But I think that as she's figuring out that this fire druid thing, the Circle of the Wildfire, I think that she's learned that Mister can fly.
Yeah,
and Mister can also
resurrection of some sort, right?
Well, no, there's a teleport element to it.
Okay,
where it can grab a willing creature and teleport them, like a little bit of a Misty Step sort of a thing, little Nightcrawler, poof poof kind of a thing. Jeez. But I don't exactly know what it's. I've read through the rules and I've read through the book, and I think it's completely. I don't know, man. Like the whole thing about Mister in EXU was broken. And it was Rule of Cool. It wasn't Raw. And Matt doesn't really play Rule of Cool. He plays more Raw, but he does still play some Rule of Cool. For example, Stonky's Ring, fucking bullshit. But
he nerfed it though, didn't he?
Yeah, a tiny bit. But it's not. He only nerfed the Raw. He only said that no, Raw is stupid because you can't have telekinesis at will. That's not the way it was intended to be written. But it is how it's written, but it's not the way it was intended to be. Right. So he just went with the consensus. It's not so much that he did it; it's that everybody sort of says no. It's not anyway. The Mister thing is going to be interesting to see if that comes in, because she could. Theoretically, she could send Mister in. So Orem goes down, or anybody goes down, she could fucking send Mister in, grab and pull out, and then. But I don't know how. I don't know how they'll rule that. I don't know. That's again. With that's sort of a
ring and Mister, and and her. Just druid being a druid. Yeah. She's kind of stupid powerful at this point.
Yep. Druids are broken.
Maybe a little bit too much, I think is what I'm getting from you.
Yeah. But a little bit. Keyleth was broken. Keyleth was way too powerful. They're in Pathfinder, in 4th edition, in 3.5, especially 3.5, in AD&D, clerics were the toolbox. And even in campaign 2, they showed us that Jester and Caduceus were really, really good. But in 5th edition, druids are really the ultimate Swiss Army knife. They have a solution for every problem. And Fern is going to be a solution for all of these problems as well. I think that's where we're going to find that out soon. We already are finding it out.
Yeah, so that was a little prediction I had. Second time through, and I'm like,
I don't know.
I'm going to throw himself under the bus.
Listen, man, I've been calling it for a while. Liam loves to do this with his characters. He loves to be super edgy with his characters, with Vax, with Caleb, and now with Orem, who is, let's be honest, not a broody sort of like Vax and Caleb were, but very much it's another extreme character. You're right, where he throws himself in front of people as a protector, and it might get him killed, might get him knocked off. We'll find out.
That's what I'm thinking. And I don't like to predict, but it just like went when he said like, I'm gonna go near Laudna, I'm gonna protect her, and I was like, that's gonna kill him. Like that's he's good, like he's a good fighter, but that's gonna kill him someday.
Yeah, probably will.
Not that he's like Caleb where he has no self-worth, or like Vax where he's like anything for my sister. It's just he'll protect anybody, even FCG, even though FCG would hate that, but Anyway, that's a prediction that I kind of want to
I like it.
Men in Black. Modify memory.
Yeah. Oh, that I
don't want to have that in my head, and like if it does happen, I'll be like, damn it, I don't want to be right.
I'll take my point on that. It's when it comes to Orem's turn, I think his second turn in this combat, Liam's gameplay of Orym was perfect. Like it couldn't have been any better. The way that he flows through a fighter is just it's so good. He does the attack, then he action surges, then he attacks again. And 3 of those 4 attacks were all goading attacks, which means that she gets the giant Shade Mother gets disadvantage. And my point is anybody but him. But my point is that Liam probably already knows and is paying attention that Fern's daylight spell already gives them all disadvantage.
Right.
But Orym doesn't know that. And so Liam's gameplay is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like this is exactly what Orym would do. He wouldn't min-max it and he wouldn't metagame it. Mm-hmm. He would full on be like, no, you're going to only attack me. Mm-hmm. I am the protector. I am the one. And then he does, I think, does he do another bait and switch on this with Fern? I think he does, to get into position for the rope. That's when the rope maneuver comes in the next turn or the next go around or something like that. I feel like it comes in fairly soon after that, or the next round in combat. Yeah, just a brilliant, like Liam is turning into the best D&D player at that table. He's one of he started playing it the same like the rest of them did, right? Sam, Laura, Travis, and Liam, they all started playing at the same time. And Ashley too, I think, as well. And Liam is outpacing them all very, very much so. He's just, his grasp of Vax and the min-maxing that was happening with Vax, with the dagger and the boots of haste and all that shit. And his grasp of, listen, wizards are really, really hard to play. They're one of the hardest classes in 5th edition to play. And he fucking nailed it with Caleb. And on top of the RP. And now a fighter battle master, which has these, all of these superiority die and all of these combat maneuvers that he can pick and choose from, and he's choosing the ones that are it's excellent. It's just excellent gameplay.
Yeah.
Love
and in
it.
campaign 1 they'd be like,
Love
no,
it.
you don't need to do that goading attack because of sunlight, and be like, oh sorry, yeah, I don't do that. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen in this campaign.
No.
If he was Laura, she'd be like, would I know that the sunlight's giving her disadvantage? She'd be like, no, you wouldn't know that. Make your attack. That's right. What are you going to do? Right. What would she do?
Exactly. They're constant reminder. Exactly.
Nice. Like you're reminding me, I sent you I was all upset about something the other day. And you were like, yes, but we get to see the differences, the advancements, the growth. That's the word.
The growth.
The growth that they've had over the years. So just take a deep breath. You're going to move forward. It's fine.
Yeah. And listen, man, I'm guilty too. I remind myself of that all the time. I'm like, it's okay. Focus on their growth. Focus on when we caught them in 2015, when we watch back to those episodes and we see them, they're basically brand new D&D players. They've been playing for a couple of years already, but they're basically brand new. They're babies. They're newbies. They barely know what they're doing. And for those first few years, they were playing Pathfinder. They weren't playing 5th edition. So when they start the stream, episode 1, campaign 1, episode 1, they're all level 7. This is their first game relatively first game of 5th edition. Yeah, I think they'd played a couple of games. They played a couple of games of 5th at home before they did the stream, just kind of familiarize themselves. But yeah, it was very much like, no, they were newbies. They were babes. Yeah. Wee babes.
Yeah. You hear it from Matt too every now and then.
Oh yeah, sure.
Back to Rollies?
Rollies.
Yeah. Now these things do have alcohol in them, so it's running through the system faster than I expected. We got 44 minutes here. I'm wondering if I can hold it.
Let's see what it does to that dice.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna win again. That's what I always do.
Yeah, you probably will.
With a 9.
Oh, I got a 10.
Fuck.
Woo!
So you didn't waste that 6 on anybody.
I did not waste that 6. You're right. I wasted that 6. Threw it away. Okay. I mean, yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff here that, okay, sure. I'll just throw it out there. At 3 hours, so this is after the break. At 3 hours, they're climbing out of they've got Lady Emoth in the hamster ball, which is weird. I really want to know what that hamster ball was, because that was a little orb that they threw that Ollie gave them. I really want to know what those things are. I thought it was maybe Odalik's Resilient Sphere, but I'm not completely sure. I think it might have been a homebrew something. I don't know. Chat seemed to think it was a Odalik's Resilient Sphere, but the fact that it was in a little ball form and it was these little items, maybe it also had maybe it was just a flavor Odalik's Resilient Sphere. I don't know. Anyway, they're running down. Fern is like acrobaticking on the top of the hamster ball. They're rolling towards the elevator, and Matt rolls a nat 20 out of Shade Creeper to attack Laudna. So Shade Creeper does a critical hit on Laudna. Laudna gets hit with 9 claw damage and 14 necrotic damage. And there's this moment of complete clusterfuckery where Marisha starts saying, wait, no, I've got, okay, Strength of the Grave. And everyone's like, what is that? Where they all start looking around at each other. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck is that? And the first time I was watching it, I was like, wait, what is that? That's something I've never heard before. Also, I want to know what it is. And then the first time I watched it, I was trying to figure out, and it didn't make any sense. And then she started talking about the 9 damage and the 23 damage and the 14 damage, and nothing made sense, but they rolled through it and it just kept going on. Second rewatch, do you remember this moment that I'm talking about?
It rings a bell, but I was also like, I don't really know what's going on here. I'll get it the second rewatch, or Ben will tell me.
Yeah, well, here's what it is. Strength of the Grave, a shadow sorcerer gets this at first level, and it's basically it's like half orcs have that resist. They have the I forget what it's called, when they drop below 0 hit points, they automatically bounce back up to 1. It's like a resilient thing, something. Strength of the Grave is the same thing with a shadow sorcerer. If they drop below 0,
that's what
they roll a con saving throw, and the DC is 5 plus damage taken. So I looked all of this up. So DC 5 plus damage taken. The damage she took was 23. The DC would be 28. It's an impossible roll. Even a nat 20, it's impossible. Now, I mean, a nat 20 isn't a guarantee. If the way that they play, a nat 20 isn't a guaranteed success on saving throws or ability scores, right? That's our skill checks. That's just what they do, the way they play. But they were super confused about it because Marisha kept saying, but 9. So it's only 4. The DC is 14. And she rolls. And then she also got it even more confused. And she said, well, it's a charisma save, but it isn't. It's a con save. So there was this whole big thing. This is another moment when chat started flinging tons of shit, just throwing.
Let me pause you right there before you give us the example. If you were giving us an example, this piss has to happen. I'm going to pause the recording real quick, and I'll be right back.
And it was, you all need to calm, I'm paraphrasing, you all need to calm down and read page 4 of the DMG. And I'm like, that rings a bell. So I paused it and I went and I read page 4 of the DMG. Yeah. And I pulled out my,
I'll do that.
Yeah. I went over to my bookshelf and I pulled out the Dungeon Master Guide, and I flipped through and I flipped to page 4. And it literally says about halfway down the page on the left side. So it's columns, 2 columns on the left-hand side. It says the role of the DM. He's a god, he's a ref, he's an arbiter, he's an arbitrator, blah, blah, blah. Yep. All of these things. But near the end of that paragraph, right at the end, one sentence stuck out to me. The DM interprets the rules and decides when to abide by them and when to change them. That's it. Yep. That sentence is it. The DM interprets the rules, and then decides when to abide by them and when to change them. And it doesn't matter what Marisha's Strength of the Grave was. Matt made a call at that moment and he stuck with it, and that's it. Yeah. Everything else doesn't matter. Literally, everything else doesn't matter.
Liam brought that up in the campaign wrap-up.
Yes.
It was like, yes. I don't even know if what was the campaign wrap. I think it might have been 100 so far or something like that. And it was just like, No, actually, Matthew did follow the rules exactly because of this thing that you just mentioned.
Yeah, because
Like,
he's the DM.
Exactly
That
in
is
the rule book, the DM can
in the
change the
rule
rules
book.
or abide by them. It's his
100%.
choice.
And this clusterfuck of a mistake and a miscommunication and misinterpreting and not reading and et cetera, getting confused. It happens at the table all the time. And this is one of those moments when I'm so glad they're not doing it live and somebody isn't watching chat and then freaking the fuck out and going back and saying, oh, we made a huge mistake there, and then slogging through and dragging the game on and just make a decision and move on. And it's homebrew to begin with. This is Matt's universe. This is Exandria. This is his baby. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. That's it. That's my point. That's all.
There've only been a couple of times where they kind of retconned a little bit, like
where they've actually retconned stuff. Yeah, barely at all.
Not really
only
like retcon, but just kind of been like, oh, by the way, that should have dropped because this is conversation. What is it? Concentration.
Concentration. Yep.
Shows how good my concentration is. They're like, that should have dropped. And you'd be like, oh, right. Okay. So, and then a few times they would actually re-roll damage or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
A couple of times they'd be like, okay, well, let's say that this person came in at this point and that's all fine. Yeah. And be like, well, okay, sure.
To that point, in this combat, Liam rephrased a couple of things. He said a couple of times, he's like, oh yeah, sorry, Matt, this DM, this should have been this, and take off that. I made a mistake. I didn't. Oh, should I have re-rolled for poison? Because he has advantage against poison, and because he's a stout halfling. So that did just happen. But those things are really minor. This was a big deal because this would have killed Marisha or killed Laudna. Laudna would have been dead.
They really killed Marisha. Dead. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's one of those things where it could have had serious consequences. Yes and no. If Laudna goes down, FCG is right there, and I'm sure he's got a revivify in his back pocket that he's been holding on to. So or at the very least, gentle repose, which most clerics hold on to. It's maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have it. I don't know. Anyway, that's my thing. What you got?
It's a counter. I got a quick counter. I was watching the video on Friday. I was doing my cardio. That's where I start my. I love those Fridays, man. I got the new episode, and I get on there, and I just start watching. Oh, you get the ad, and then you get the song, and then you get the episode. Oh, it's just such a great way to get off work, and then get to the gym, and then my weekend starts. It's fucking terrific. But I got a random PM while watching the video, not the live recording, but watching the video, and I was getting. I don't remember if it was before or after the mark it said, but it said skip to 1 hour and 1 minute. And I think I was already past it or something like that, but I wish I wrote down the username or something just in case it was familiar, because it was like a DM that popped up, and I'm just like, what? Skip to this. I'm like, what? And I got rid of it. I think I was past it because I was like at an hour and 7 minutes or something, and I was in the battle. So I was like, oh, okay, so 1 hour and 1 minute, that's when the battle starts on the Twitch. And I'm like, how does that happen? Like, I'm watching a video, somebody knows I'm watching the video. I mean,
are you
has this ever happened to you? Have you ever heard of this on Twitch?
Nope, never. It
makes no sense. It kind of feels
it doesn't.
Somebody's watching over my shoulder or something.
Yeah, that is odd. No, I have no idea what that is. That's very weird. I don't know, man.
Keep an eye on that.
Is that like if somebody is you're logged in as you're on your Twitch
my
handle, and then somebody they know that what you're doing.
Maybe
that seems
but
weird.
Nobody knows that except for Kid Celtic. He knows my schedule.
He might be
Taiwan. But it wasn't him.
Was he sitting behind you? You're on the treadmill, and he's a couple of rows over watching.
He could have been out the window, borrowed his friend's phone, be like, "I'm gonna log you in," send him a message.
Creepy.
Yeah, it was a little strange, and I was like, "Is this something that happened in the live broadcast, and now it's also in the video?" That doesn't make sense. It's a PM or a DM, whatever they call them. Yeah, so it was very strange. And for me to skip to 101, do you know me at all? Why do you have my account? Why are you sending me a message to skip? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like who
Get outta
skips
here.
shit? You know,
Nope.
I like the battles the first time, and like you know that. Like the second time through, all right, I know what happens in the battle. I give it to the RP. You know.
Yep.
I know it's very strange, very off-putting, but
I don't know. Yeah, man. No, I've never got random messages from anybody
maybe we're
when
more
I'm
famous
watching.
than we thought.
Maybe you are.
Somebody's
I never
watching
get
us right
messages.
now.
That's fine.
All right, I got
Hey,
an empty
rollies.
bladder now, so we're back to rollies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rollies. Let's do this.
All right.
I think we're even at this point.
You're not beating my nat 20.
Hey, you get a nat 20, fucker. I got that waste my 18. I was
I think
convinced
that's
I
my
had
third, but you beat my 18 with a nat 20. Is that my third nat 20? I think.
one. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care. Fuck you.
I don't give a shit about your shit.
I'm gonna go back to a positive one, or should I start with the negative and then go positive? I've got two left. One of them's negative.
Do the positive one first.
Yeah. Okay. Because
Yeah,
if I get to my next one, it's gonna be negative.
Whatever.
And we're gonna end it on negative. We're teachers, man. We can't do that.
Okay, do the negative one
positive.
first.
I'm gonna do the positive. All right. Executive decision. Matt, after the battle, was speaking through Ollie when he said, after Laudna says, "So do you trust us now?" You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he said, Ollie said, she, right? Ollie said, "Gonna be honest, quite the display of ingenuity back there." You know, and I was thinking the same fucking thing as a viewer. And Ollie, I think Matthew was just like, dude, Sunlight and Orem with the fucking thing, that saved everything. Everything. Because I was pretty convinced somebody was gonna die when they walked in there. Like I thought Travis thought so too.
They didn't even finish the fucking battle. They ran away.
Yeah.
They got Emoth in the bubble, in the hamster ball, and they didn't kill the queen, the Shade Mother.
That is insane that they got that to happen, that they did this. Insane.
Yeah. Agreed.
And like Laudna nearly died, or maybe should have died. Don't talk to chat. They don't, you know, who gives a shit? But yeah, like Orem and Fern first, and then Orem second saved a fucking life. And then Matt was sitting there speaking through Ollie. Holy shit, guys. Somebody was probably going to die there. But he got that moment to say that. I'm pretty sure that was Matthew, not Ollie. Or, you know, both of them.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, like if Matt's watching and he's seeing them pull off all of this stuff, and he even when Ashley as Fern cast Daylight, his eyes lit up and he was like, "Oh, you found the fucking little secret door. You found the button. you got the cheat code here. This well done. You figured it out. And now it's going to be Yeah,
and who knows if it was they never used it before, you know? Maybe she was just doing it like, okay, it's my turn to buy the beers, so I will put this spell out. So, Imogen, you can do whatever you want.
The big one.
Yeah.
Like this is.
It turns out
she only, like I said, she only gets 1/3. I'm pretty certain at level 5, she only gets 1/3 level spells. So I'm fairly sure that's her big nuke. Yeah, that was her big gun that she pulled out. And Matt, as the NPC, Ollie and Gus, he realized, he's like, yeah, that was some ingenuity.
Yeah, that Ollie and Gus, they've never seen anything like that before. Matthew has, but Matthew had to give him a compliment. That was fucking sick. You think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ollie and Gus, I think Gus had multiple fireballs. That's a 5th level spell.
Like he had 3, right? Because he did 2, and then he was like, "I'm gonna save this one."
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I was trying to figure out. I think they only did 2, and I don't think he had a 3rd.
Well, he said he was gonna save one, right? He's like, "You got any more fireballs?" And he was like, "Well, if all due respect, if I need this, I'm gonna use it later."
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was sort of trying to get some clues about what level they would be, but they're clearly fairly high level casters.
Okay. So maybe they have seen some of that shit.
Ollie seemed to be a multi-class ranger of some kind. I'm not totally sure what Ollie was. It definitely ranger because he was and dual wielding because he had 2 little what are those Eskrima fucking fighting sticks. But he also had a crossbow, and he was, I don't know if he hunter marked. He might have hunter marked. Not sure. Anyway, I was trying to figure out what Ollie was. Gus was clearly a wizard, clearly a mage, inquisitor, investigator, mage. of some kind. Hard to figure out what they were. I thought initially they were the green cloaks, the green seekers wearing the green cloaks. They were druids, or Gus was a druid. But man, I don't know. Hard to figure that stuff out without being told.
Yeah.
Matt plays stuff very close to the vest when it comes to that. He's like, oh yeah, and then you see him pull out a little thing and he casts a spell, and you're like, fireball. Okay, must be a wizard. Maybe a wizard, because Fern eventually is going to get fireball as well. Soon, actually, maybe level 6 or level 7, she's going to get fireball, and because she's a fire circle of the wildfire. So who the fuck knows? I mean, bards get fireball if they want it. Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah. What'd you got?
Okay, mine's another map point, so I'll throw that out as well. When they're trying to when the table is shipping Fern and Chetney, and they're trying to get where Fern is like, okay, at 3:00 I'll be right. If you do the howl.
That's right. All that shit
and all that fucking nonsense that was going on. Which
I was trying to remember why I loved the second half so much.
It was so sublime, so ridiculous, so amazing.
When are you gonna stop acting like this is gonna happen? Like, or whatever the fuck he said.
It was just brilliant by Travis. But when he's like, wait, so can I wait up until, when Travis asked Matt, can I wait up until 3? And then Matt says the line, well, how hurt are you? And Sam was like, what? How hard are you?
I was so distracted by that. I forgot what it was for.
Matt's face palm and they keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And Matt finally is like, he's had enough. He's fed up about it. I'm fairly certain he's never uttered these lines before. I've never heard him say it. And if he had said it, I would have known, because this is iconic. This is some iconic shit. DMs never say this. And it's 4 words. Rocks fall, everyone dies. I am sure Matt has never said that before, because though that is serious old school D&D. That dates back to the 1980s. That is like 2nd edition, 3rd edition AD&D. That is old school DM shit. And I don't know if you're aware of what that actually means. I mean, but it's when like it's pretty ripcord. It's pretty obvious. It's a ripcord. The DM has finally had enough. The DM is like, fuck you all. I'm done with you. Rocks fall. Everyone dies. Campaign over.
Peace out. Get out of my house.
That's it. Yep. Get out of my. Exactly. It's Eric Cartman. Get the fuck out of my ball. I'm going home. It's that shit. That's what it is. It's like the DM has had enough and doesn't want to play anymore. And he said those 4 words. Yep. And it was at that moment with how hard are you? He literally picked up his papers.
Oh, amazing.
Just looked. He's like, rocks fall, everyone dies.
I didn't hear him say that, but I also wasn't aware of the. Yeah, I'm sure I heard it, but I was just like, "Oh, what a silly goof." Rocks fall, everybody dies.
Yeah, it's an iconic D&D thing, man. Like that's what DMs will. I've never ever played at a table that's done that before, where a DM has actually been like, "Fuck you, get out of my house."
I have to go back and see Taliesin's reaction, because
I've heard DMs. I had a DM that used to joke about it all the time. He was like, one of my buddies here in Taiwan, who's not in Taiwan anymore. He used to joke about it often when we'd be like a little bit out of control, a little bit out of line, not following the rules, getting a little silly, and yeah, very much. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's it. I've had enough of this shit. Rocks fall, everyone dies, and we'd all laugh about it and just carry on. It was all just a joke. But and Matt did it the same way. But I've never heard him say that before. I don't think. I'm fairly certain. I would have remembered it, because it is one of those iconic.
I think you would have. Yeah, like I've never heard it before, but I didn't hear it this time either. 2 times.
I made a note, man. 35540 on the chat on the Twitch stream.
I was just so distracted by how hilarious it was. I must have, and it wasn't an iconic statement for me, so it didn't latch.
For me,
but after my first campaign, 3rd watch through, I'm going back into campaign 3, not campaign 2. That's a commitment, man. I'll get there eventually, I'm sure. But I'm gonna start again with campaign 3 for the 2nd watch through. I guess with this podcast, it's the 3rd watch through for me. But I'm making little notes that you've said, like timestamps and shit. Be like, oh, it's this one. I get to,
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
It's
And then
exciting.
when you're watching it, yeah, I agree. I'm keeping all of this stuff too. If I ever want to actually look back on any of this, the nonsense that I've written. But yeah, that's mine. I
right.
got a couple more. How you doing?
I got one left.
Okay, let's
and
do
it's
rollies for it
time,
then,
yeah?
and and then we'll do one more and we'll call it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Nat 20. Here we go.
Yeah, not gonna
3.
happen. Fuck, you're not gonna believe it.
Did you get nat 20?
I got 2 in a row, dude.
Wow. Damn it. I got a 17. Fuck.
This dice rolls well for me. This dice. There I go again. This die rolls really
Gotcha.
well, dude. It hasn't
All
been
right.
on a low streak, but now I'm knocking on wood because it's probably gonna happen. I'm
That's
going
3
negative.
That's 3 nat 20s for us tonight. 2 for you, 1 for me. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
hey,
Man. That's
mirrors
pretty
the
good.
episode quite well, right?
It does.
All right, I'm going negative.
A lot of nat 20s on this episode. Go.
Here's the negative. Towards the
Give her.
end.
Yep.
I remember Fern made some kind of investigation check or something to be like if there's any holes for shade creepers to come through.
Oh, right. When they're in the tavern, when they're in the inn, the
And then-
sit and swill or whatever it's
They
called.
keep talking and stuff, and she didn't roll that well. It was like a 6 or something, so she didn't really see anything.
Mhm.
Or if there was something there, she didn't find it. And then later on, after some talking and stuff, this is something that gets to me, is
Mhm.
that Orem is sitting there, Liam
Mhm.
is sitting there, and he says, I rolled a 23 to see if Fern missed anything.
Yeah.
No, can't do that. I trust you guys at the table, but I'm sorry, especially Liam. You don't just say what you rolled. Like, Taliesin tried doing that a few times in the first campaign early on. He's like, I rolled a 22 for investigation. Like, sorry, what are you looking for? I mean, like, just let it go, you know? And then eventually Matthew was like, you know, you have to say it first and then roll it so I know which roll counts. Because you can just sit there and roll a 20 to see if you want to use it next. And be like, hey, that was a good roll.
Sure.
There's a 20.
There's a funny, it reminds me of that statement that you just made reminds me. There's a guy that I play with in our 5th edition campaign, or I'm a player of. He's playing a wizard, abjuration transmutation wizard, and he there's a feat that not a feat, there's a ability that they get where every morning they get to roll d20 twice. And at any point, they can use whatever they roll, they write it down, and whatever those numbers are, they can use them at any point when a natural 20 is rolled at the table. So for them, for the DM, or for another player, they can substitute their D20.
You can substitute their nat 20 for one of your rolls.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a really so if you rolled, like, say you rolled I might be getting it wrong. It might not be quite that powerful. It might only be for your own rolls. It might not be for others.
If you have a reaction, I mean, like,
I feel like he's used it. Yeah, maybe it's a reaction. I can't remember. I don't actually remember, but I feel like he has used it,
nerfing it, right?
for another thing. Anyway, he often just rolls middling numbers. So it's but occasionally he has rolled a nat 20 or a nat 1. A nat 1 is amazing too. So because then you can substitute a natural 1 for a bad guy's roll if you feel like it. And I think that is the case. I think that he can. I don't remember the exact rules, but it is a funny little thing, a funny little ability.
It's kind of cool. It's very video game.
It is.
You know?
It is. It's fun.
Which I'm a huge fan of.
What you just said there, like, you can't just sit there and roll d20s. I'm like, well, kind of. In the morning, he rolls 2 d20s and writes them down, and then holds on to them until he gets to use them. So yeah, it is kind of a funny thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Things like that when they're not really that. When they're not really that. Listen, let's game that out. So imagine that Orem.
I trust him. I know that Liam's not trying to pull some shit. I trust the guy for sure. But
I mean,
no,
if it was me, if I was Matt for a quick second, just gaming it out, and I'm like, oh, okay, so Liam just said that Orem rolled a 23 for investigation, and Matt's like, yeah, no, you don't find anything. You don't find any holes. Even if he was planning that there were holes in the wall, he's just like, yeah, no, you don't find any holes.
Yeah, you also don't find anything. You could, you could just slough, not slaw, slough it off. I know Matt's been saying slaw for a long time. I just thought it was a dialect somewhere. I knew it as slough, right?
Florida man says weird things sometimes. Foyer.
News all the time.
Foyer.
Foyer.
Who the fuck says foyer?
Instead of key.
And that one bugs me too. What was the other one? There's another one. The wench. you know, like a winch.
Yeah.
You know, when you winch, he says wench.
For
It's
a
like,
winch?
where? Yeah.
That's Kentucky
Yeah.
style.
Oh man, it was really weird.
And
I
then
was like,
sigil and
"Wow."
sigil.
Yeah, there's been like a couple of those dialect ones I listened to as well. I'm like, what? Really? That's or the lure, like a fishing lure. We calls it a lure.
A lure, yeah.
That's a lure.
That's kind of a
It's
British
lure.
thing, I think. It's a
Oh,
lure.
it's odd.
Yeah,
Hey,
my kids that was
dialects
one
are
of their
weird.
spelling words, and they're having this competition right now. And the British teacher, I was sitting there doing a crossword while she was doing her shit, and she was like, "Word 17, lure." And the kids like, I'd been doing the spelling because like they like the American accent, and I've been saying lure, you know, because you say it twice.
Lure.
She was like lure, and then she kind of looked at me, and I'm like, I know what you're saying.
I'm out, man. Yep,
Like,
I'm out.
yeah, nothing
Yeah.
to do with me. I don't give a shit. If they fail.
Never, ever be a grammar Nazi in front of kids. Ever.
No,
ever.
Yeah, yep.
Never. That's a cardinal sin.
Yep.
Don't correct other teachers in front of kids.
Never.
Ever.
No, you always agree.
Yep.
It's like parenting. You know, you got to agree.
Yeah. So hey, listen, that was your nat 20. I'll pull my last one out. I'm gonna go right to the end of this episode.
My second nat 20. Just go ahead.
Okay, whatever.
In a
I
row.
rolled a
Sorry.
I rolled a 17, man. I want to know why Matt and Laura both rolled 20s when she said, "I let my mind shield down." I really want to know what that means. I don't understand it enough. I've read through what it is, but I want to know what their little interpretation of it is. I want to know how that's going to play out, because I think it's going to become a big deal later on. I feel like it's some foreshadowing for when she does finally find the red storm. And when she does, I'm convinced her mom's not dead. I'm convinced her mom's out there.
I feel that way.
in this storm somewhere, and I think it's going to be a really big deal. But right at the end, when she has that purple crystal and she's in the room and everyone's asleep, and she lets her guard down and stares into it, and then she rolls, she's like, "I let my mind shield down," and both her and Matt reach for dice and they both rolled them. And I think I know what it means. I think it means that she's rolling to see if she is able to keep the voices at bay. And I think Matt is rolling to see if any voices are going to be able to get in. But I don't understand why they don't tell each other what the numbers are, because that seems to be completely against the whole point of them rolling 20s. Is it like just private D20s? Are you just making shit up? Like, what's happening? And then literally 5 seconds later, Matt is like, "Oh, and by the way, I need you to roll a 20 plus your charisma modifier." And she does.
Because of what he rolled, right?
Maybe. That would be. But then what about her first roll? What does that mean? There is a discrepancy there that I don't really understand, and I'd like to know more. Maybe I think I'm just curious. I'm just genuinely curious. And then she rolls a 9, which is clearly a fail, because I'm guessing it's probably a DC 10 or a DC 15. It
minimum. It's gotta be,
minimum.
Right?
A minimum. It'd be a 10 or a 15. And then she rolled a 9, and then she drifts off to sleep with the crystal in her hand, and that's where they end the episode. Right. Fantastic little cliffhanger for an episode, but I really want to know the things that go. I mean, and the weird thing is, like, right before that, she rolled a nat 20 on the Arcana check to see what this purple stone was.
Right.
And she gets almost nothing for a natural 20, which I was really impressed with Matt. I'm always impressed with a DM that gives, like, you rolled a nat 20, you don't learn fucking anything. Like, I like that. I dig that so much.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I think there was a moment in campaign 2 in some dungeon. I think it was when Yasha was under control and they were trying to find her or something like that. Yep. And I think somebody drops a bearing down something or something like that. And then and she's like, roll a perception, and they're like, oh, natural 20, yeah. And he was like, and they were like, what do I hear? And he says, nothing.
Yeah.
That was your
Yeah.
nat 20. You got
Yep.
that from a nat 20, which says a
Yep.
lot. It means there's
It does.
definitely nothing,
There's
like
yes, exactly. Like it doesn't, a natural 20 doesn't automatically mean you know everything. It doesn't automatically mean that you
but
you
if
succeed.
he says
It's
nothing, then that
Yeah.
person heard nothing. It wasn't like maybe there
Nothing.
was something there. No, they heard nothing.
No,
So they're sure about
exactly.
that nothingness, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That kind of speaks
Well,
a lot.
It does.
I wish
it
I could.
does.
I wish I could tell you the episode or more about it.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember what you're talking about. I think it was in the
something like that. It was
in
like,
the temple in that what was that in fuck, where is that? That was with where they crossed that iron bridge and they were going through that, like that shaky bridge with the mouths underneath and all the whispers and
that was on the way to the fucking the giggle fist.
Sure.
Or not Orem.
When
Oban was about to take the giggle fist out of
the laughing hand.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. I remember. Right on. Hey, I'm done. I got nothing left. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Oh, hey, quick one. Quick one. Did you watch State of the Roll?
No, I didn't. I saw that on Reddit this morning, and tomorrow.
Really, really good. Really good. 7 minutes. Fucking hilarious. It's really funny.
Don't set it up for me, man. Come on.
Amazing.
Jeez, now it's gonna
So
be like
good.
kind of funny.
No, it's gonna be hilarious. You're gonna laugh. But they did
I'm
release
very interested in it.
ton of information. A ton of information. I won't spoil it for you.
now.
But there's I was gonna bring up a couple of the points, but I guess I'll wait for next week.
You know me.
Next week.
7 minute state of the roll.
Next week. Well, 7 minutes for their 7-year anniversary.
On
7 years.
wait.
Next week.
I guess it's not March 17th.
No, it'll be What day is it today? Wait.
It is.
Wait. It is March 17th.
It is March 17th.
Yeah.
That's Thursday night.
Yeah. That's Thursday night.
So we'll get the 17th or the night.
Yeah.
I can't do
18th.
numbers.
No, 18. Yeah.
That's right. 7th year anniversary on the 17th.
On the 17th.
Man, I hope I get I ordered some boxers and socks and some masks. My masks have cauliflower, I was about to say. What are they called? Lucky Charms. What are they called? Clovers.
4-leaf clovers.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I have that keeps me from getting pinched. But
Okay.
everybody knows pinching is a form of flirting. So maybe I will get pinched. We'll see.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's
Time to
call it
call
a night.
I know that sweet little girl on that couch back there. Her
Yeah.
head's been in the
See
frame
her.
the whole time. I like
Yeah.
that. She's on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably got a piece so bad, but she hides it way
yeah.
better than I do.
She's waiting. She's waiting. She's patient.
Darn.
She's patient.
All right. Yeah, I still got nothing to promote. So
Yeah, no, neither do I.
yeah.
Lacey,
Okay.
Come on up. Hey, jump up here.
We got a little Lacey.
Come on up.
Lacey
Yep,
coming
there
in. There she is.
There she is.
And
Say hi,
on that
girl.
sweet little note. All right. Well,
All
hey
right.
everybody, don't forget to love each other. Don't forget to love the dogs and the kitties around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say something about Ukraine. I'm gonna keep politics out of this.
Nah.
And is it finally Friday?
Woo.
Peace.
Peace, brother. Love you.
See you next time. Bye bye.